Test. Check. Hi, Ma'am Arlene. May I verify if my audio is clear? If Francesco, Dr. Francesco.
Hi,
Hi, so
can you hear me?
we're so happy, we're so glad you're here with us. May I verify if my voice is audible enough, Dr. Francesco?
Yes, yes,
It's clear.
it's perfect. What
All right,
about
thank you
mine?
so much.
You can hear me?
Yes,
Okay, perfect.
yes, it's good, it's good.
See me and you can hear me.
Yeah.
Here we go. Whenever you want,
yeah, we
you
can start.
Yes.
So, good afternoon, everybody, and I think good noon there in Germany. Is it noon time there?
It's
Are you currently
11 a.m. here. Yes.
11 a.m.? In which country are you in right now, Dr. Francesco?
Sorry, now I lost your. It's not about the
Sorry.
volume of your voice, but I think the connection kind of moved.
Ah,
Anyway,
in which location are you currently in, Dr.
I'm in
Francesco?
Munich. I'm in Munich. I work in Milano, in Milan, in Italy, but I live in Munich, in Germany.
Ooh,
Yeah.
interesting.
So,
All right. So
I'm right now connected
here with
from
us.
yes, a nice Bavarian place.
Okay. So here with us now is Professor Arlene Lokias, and she is one of my co-researchers on Flores de Mayo here in Bohol. And we have thought about asking you to talk about your work because we found it really insightful. And yeah, we were so interested to see Flores de Mayo among Filipinos outside the Philippines. yeah. So I think Ma'am Arlene, can you begin with the introduction?
Okay, can I start, Sir Mark?
Yes, yes, sure.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to this meaningful academic gathering. We are especially honored to have with us our guest speaker, an anthropologist in whose research on Flores de Mayo of Filipinos in Israel offers us a rich opportunity to understand how faith, culture, and identity continue to live and grow beyond our homeland. Flores de Mayo is more than a familiar Filipino religious tradition. It is also a cultural expression of devotion, community, memory, and belonging. To learn how this tradition is practiced by Filipinos in Israel allows us to see how our people preserve their heritage, adapt to our new environments, and continue to express what it means to be a Filipino wherever they may be. To our college students, may this conference inspire you to appreciate research not only as an academic requirement, but as a way of listening to people's stories, understanding their experiences, and valuing the culture that shapes their lives. So, welcome to this activity. May I introduce to you our speaker, Francesco Della Costa, PhD, an Italian anthropologist and assistant professor at the University of Milan, Bicocca. His research spans ritual and rhetoric environment and food studies from 2014 to 2018. He conducted ethnographic field work with the Filipino Catholic community in Israel, focusing on the annual Flores de Mayo celebration in Rehovot. He is the author of Flores de Mayo in Rehovot, Ritual and Rhetorical Strategies of Filipinos Presence in Israel. Yes. He also published several researches in several publications about food rituals, multi-species relations, and cultural regeneration. Welcome, Sir Francesco Della Costa, and welcome to this conference.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for the invitation. I am so glad to participate and to share with you the results of my research that I conducted in Israel with a wonderful Filipino community to whom I'm still very much tied, and I'm always in touch with them, even though because of the situation that you all know, I don't manage to go so often as I wish in Israel. But I am in touch with the whole community all the time. So I'm so glad to participate here and to talk about them with you, about such an interesting thing that for you is familiar, but for me it was not. So I came to know about this as I lived in Israel and I participate in the community for 5 years. So thank you so much, both of you professors, for the invitation, and to all the students who are connected and listening. I hope you will have the time to enjoy some discussion afterwards. I hope everything works well, and what I would like to do, if I am allowed, is to share a little PowerPoint just for you to have a few pictures and points of my talk. I should be allowed to, right?
Yes, I think so, Professor.
Okay, I just try to share my screen. I think this should be, oh no, not this. Let's go like this.
Right.
Can you see it?
Yes. It's
Okay,
clear.
so
Perfectly clear.
yes, what I did was to just a second. Okay, it was to summarize what I think you are interested in about my research in Israel. So the specificity of the celebration of the festival Flores de Mayo in that specific place, which of course is is similar to what is celebrated in the Philippines or everywhere else in the world by Filipinos in the diaspora, in what they call the diaspora, but of course has its own specificity in Israel, and that's what I was trying to also to follow in my research. So I don't know as much as you know about Flores de Mayo in the Philippines. What I know is what I learned in Israel. So I focused on this particular version of the festival, and what I try to understand about it is how it relates somehow to both being Filipinos abroad and Filipinos in Israel in particular. So I will always start when I talk about, also in other, talking about other topics, I often come back to this, what we call ethnographic vignette. So is just a, yes, um, it's it's just a description of something I personally witnessed, and I would like to go over it with you. On the last Saturday of May 2016, I've been in the community for 5 years, as I told you, from like the beginning of 2014 until the end of 2018. But I focused on for my research, for my paper in particular, I focused on one version on one particular celebration, the one of 2017. So it was that year that I picked up this this scene. Around 6 p.m., a small, colorful dress crowd gathers in the city park in suffocating heat. We are in Rehovot, a medium-sized city in Israel's central districts, not far from Tel Aviv. Most of those assembled are Filipinos. An Israeli woman in her 60s passes by in frumpy dress and flip-flops, carrying strawberries in a plastic sack. She stops and stands, staring skeptically at a young Filipina dressed in a long white gown with a shining crown resting on her black hair. After a while, the woman asks in Hebrew, Mazi, which means, what's this? And the girl bashfully answers in a strongly accented Hebrew, it's our Flores de Mayo, a Filipino tradition to honor Mama Mary. The woman does not understand and asks again. The girl then strives to explain, ever more embarrassed, as if forced to account for something obvious. I'm Reina Elena, the mother of Constantine, the emperor. But at that point, the woman is fed up with such nonsense and moves on, shuffling away in her flip-flops with her strawberries in their plastic sack. This is something I was very lucky to observe personally, because somehow also shows what is very hard to be translated. Cultures, of course, are communication, are also means of communication between people, but at the same time, there are different codes. They are encoded in different languages, let's say, not just the language we speak, but in different signs and symbols. And it's very hard to understand each other unless you really keep asking, what's this? The question the lady was asking, the Israeli woman was asking, was the right one. That's exactly the what's about the job anthropologists do. It's just asking, what's this? Anthropologists are supposed to go somewhere else, but like lately it's more and more normal to stay in your own society and keep asking this question. What's this? Try to understand in a way that is not, how you say, prejudgmental. Like, is not what we are looking for is not prejudgments or judgments, but is trying to co-understanding with people, what people is doing, what they are saying, what they are pretending sometimes also. So in this case, again, this is the point of view I would like to start from. What is this Flores de Mayo in a context where nobody else, except for the Filipino participants, know anything about it? And that was also my position at the beginning, because of course I was never exposed to this celebration, or also to the Filipino culture, which then I tried to learn and understand more and more. But at the beginning, for me, was like something stunning. Like, I want to understand this, which is something that I do regularly with everybody I try to study anthropologically with. Try to what I normally say about anthropology is that we try to challenge the obviousness. So something that, of course, for for the girl that was answering to that lady, that was something obvious, but to explain then something that is obvious is not so easy. So anyway, let's start from the beginning, just a little context for you to have an idea of what we are talking about, of what is the presence of Filipino people in Israel. So there are about 30,000 documented Filipinos in Israel. And the vast majority of them are labor migrant, and they entered the country on, of course, on international agreement for nursing care work, mostly in private homes or public institutions. Something that I discovered after a while is that since 2002, Filipino Catholic communities are officially established and acknowledged by the Philippine Embassy in Israel. And which means, of course, they are acknowledged by the State of Israel. The embassy, the Philippine Embassy in Israel, controls and supports the Federation of Filipino Communities in Israel, FFCI. So there is an organization of Filipino migrant workers in Israel, and this an official one is organized by the embassy itself. Not only Filipino Catholic communities are officially acknowledged also by the Latin Patriarchate of Jerusalem, which means by the Catholic Church, the official institution of the Catholic Church in Israel, through the Migrant Pastoral Office, because of course is the pastoral office that takes care of migrants, but also by the Vicariate for Hebrew-speaking Catholics. This is something interesting. I don't have so much time to go too much into, but why the Vicariate for Hebrew-speaking Catholics? Because many Filipinos have children in Israel, and the children mostly, they speak sometimes Tagalog too, but they mostly speak Hebrew because they go to the school in Hebrew, and so their main language is Hebrew. And the Catholic Church, as at some point, has needed to take care of this issue. And so this is something that maybe we can discuss afterwards. Is not directly related to the community itself I've been studying with, and to the Flores de Mayo, but it's something very important, because this tells us also something about the undocumented Filipinos in Israel. I don't really know how many of them are there, but I met many of them. For example, the children. This is a very controversial issue, because the immigration law in Israel doesn't allow migrant workers to build up families over there. So basically, what happens is that if you get married in Israel and you want to take with you your children, which you do, because I know so many Filipino families in Israel, you can take the risk of becoming undocumented. I mean, it's a very important thing, also because when you look at Catholic Filipino communities, they welcome both documented and undocumented migrants, providing them with pastoral care, but also with a kind of political legitimacy and forms of assistance ranging from job searches to daycare for children, for example. I mean, Catholic communities are very important for social life of Filipino migrant workers in Israel. But let's just focus on one of those Catholic communities that are so important in the Filipino lives in Israel. Because of personal reason, I was living in this city, which is called Rehovot, which is a 80,000 people city in the central district, not like 30 kilometers away from Tel Aviv. As a Catholic, I was looking for a mass celebration, and the only one I met there was in this community, in this Filipino community. So that's why how I came to know this community, and the community name is Santa Teresa of the Child Jesus, and is a Catholic, a Filipino Catholic community, which is officially recognized by the embassy. So it's something that has a statute, that has coordinators, and a structure, let's say, a social structure to be observed. And it's a special place to me, but it's also very interesting because, as you can see, it's very well decked with flowers and pictures and sacred effigies, but it's basically a tent, you know, with plastic chairs and something that is very somehow ephemeral. And this is why this is just right because Rehovot, this city, is almost fully Jewish city. There's no church in Rehovot. There's no Catholic or even Christian worship venue in this city. So what they had to do was just to build somehow a place that could accommodate the 100 people that regularly on Saturday night attend the mass in this community. The community's activity mostly is the mass celebration and some social programs during the Saturday night, because mostly Filipino people in Israel have their full-time job that doesn't allow them to have more free time, let's say. And also they celebrate the mass on Saturday night because, as you might know, in Israel, Sunday is a working day, so they are supposed to work on Sundays, and that's why they gather to celebrate the mass on Saturday night. It's like the pastoral care and the religious services are granted by the Salesian community of Jerusalem. They come from there every Saturday night to celebrate the mass with the Filipino community. And as you can see, this is especially a picture from the community patronal fiesta. So it was the day of Santa Teresa of the Child Jesus. And here you have a Filipino priest, but also two representatives of the Salesian community in Jerusalem, and the other one just on the back is the vicar. So, and you see also there is a Filipino flag. You can understand how this is, like, the community is always, how to say, shows itself as officially recognized by the Catholic Church and by the Embassy of the Philippines. So these are relationships that are always acknowledged and recognized by the community. Here is the people. Here you can even see a little better this tent. The thing is that when I started to attend the mass there and to participate in the community life, just a room over there, like not far from this yard, was used for the mass. But then the community grew up, and there was no seats for everybody to attend the mass there. So they were forced to look for a different venue, but it was not easy, as you can understand, because in a fully Jewish environment, it's very hard to rent a place where you like you say you're going to celebrate mass and to have a Catholic community. So what they were offered was to use the yard of the place they were renting, and that they built basically this tent over there. As you can see, maybe from the crowd gathered here, they're mostly Filipinos, but not only. The fact that I could participate there, it's because even if the community is officially organized around the Filipino presence, let's say, non-Filipino, as the mass is celebrated in English, the community is open to foreigners, to non-Filipino participants. And you see there are other people from I see a German girl here, I see some friends of mine from Costa Rica, Indian people, Indian family was attending too, the Italian one, that was my family. So I mean, it's a international environment in the end, because this city is full of foreigner researchers and students, as there are a couple of very important Israeli science institutes, and so this is a perfect place to gather together for Catholic people who are looking for a mass in that city. But let's try to focus on my first step of interpretation of this environment I had the chance to step into. When I first entered, the very first day I entered this community, the coordinator, Maribel, told me, welcome in our cathedral. This is our cathedral. And of course, I was entering a tent, or anyway, no, at the beginning, maybe it was even a little room. And the irony in Maribel's words were just clear, right? She was telling me something, and she was telling this to anybody, but to me, she was telling this in a very specific way, because she then claimed that, of course, was not as fancy as the Italian cathedrals, right? She knew it was from Italy. And so it was a very friendly way to welcome foreigner people. But also, what really struck me was the idea that ironic way to welcome people was something that was affirming sort of a presence where that presence was not supposed to be. Because irony is not about being true or false, right? Was that a cathedral in the, let's say, in the sense you and I have in our minds when we think of cathedrals, as you have in the Philippines, or we have in Italy, or here in Germany? That was not the point. The point was not it's a real cathedral. Irony is a dialectic of two uncertainties. Is it real? Is it not? The idea of that utterance, ironic utterance, is to transcend the literal meaning of the words. Here there is a venue, a Catholic venue, where there is known other Catholic venues. And even if it doesn't look like a real cathedral, still it's our cathedral. And this is all played on the register of irony, because in Israel and in their mind also, and in our mind as Catholics, Israel is also the holy, what we call the Holy Land, the place where Jesus was walking in his own life on earth. And it's so much ironic that in a place as such, building a cathedral is not possible, for example, or at least is not easy. Because unless, apart from Arab enclaves that are historically Christian, both evangelical and Catholics, there is no other, and so they are gathered and concentrated mostly in Tel Aviv, in the old city of Tel Aviv, and in Jerusalem, and in some other spots like Nazareth, for example. But of course, as you can maybe understand, but in many other places, even some other places that are connected to the gospel story, there is no Christian. So I started looking at this story with this perspective of interpreting the whole activity of the community, and we would see the Flores de Mayo celebration as from a rhetorical perspective. So here we go with Flores de Mayo. These are pictures from I think the 2017 edition. I think you know much more than I do something about Flores de Mayo, so I don't know if I need to go some deeper into it. I try to describe what I saw in Israel about this feast. As you can see in this picture, you have basically 10 sagalas, so 10 ladies representing 10 Marian titles, 10 ways in which we celebrate the Virgin Mary. And in this case, for example, you have the Our Lady of Mount Carmel, that basically is also very well connected to the Israel territory, because Mount Carmel is in the northern Israel.
Excuse me,
So,
Professor.
sorry?
Should do we expect to find a slide on the screen right now? Currently, there's none.
Sorry?
Currently, we cannot see the picture
Oh,
that you're
okay.
talking about, Professor.
I will try to share again, maybe.
Uh,
You see my screen now or not?
I see your video of yourself, but not the pictures.
So you haven't been seeing any of my pictures?
No, it's just the recent ones.
Okay, okay.
Like a few, let's say, seconds or minutes ago.
Oh, I see. What I can do is try to stop sharing, and then I try to share again, and let's hope it works. Maybe if I share, I don't know, because I can do like this, but I'm not sure. Content only. Let's try. Do you see now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I go fast to the picture I was talking about. Here, this is Rehovot. This is the city park, and this is the parade that is setting up with these sagalas in procession. Each one of them represents the title of one of the, like, there are 10, and I will talk about that. The limitation of the number is very important in Israel. There are 10, and they represent each year different titles under which we celebrate the Virgin Mary. They are surrounded by this flower arch, and also this is something that not only Filipinas can participate in, because I'm not sure you can see in the picture because it's quite far away, but there are also non-Filipinos girls, ladies, representing, acting actually as sagalas, representing Marian titles. So this is quite interesting because when I talked to the coordinator, Maribel, the coordinator of the community, she was telling me, look, in the Philippines, the pageant can be much longer and more populated by figures representing. You can tell me if this is true. Then I read some articles or papers about this, so I came to know that also other figures from the gospel participate in the pageant, like the Samaritana, for example, or just figures from the ancient testament, like Ruth or Judith, other heroines from the Bible, right? Here in Israel, the number is limited and is restricted to only 10 titles of the Virgin Mary. Interesting enough, they are mostly chosen among, you know, that the titles under which we celebrate the Virgin Mary are so many, but they choose mostly the ones that show the Christian faith to the whole world, like Guadalupe, for example, that was a very important sign in the Latin American Catholic faith, for example, or other. Like there was a criterion they had in mind. But also they told me we restricted the number of participants to 10, and we only allowed the Virgin Mary's titles to like the sagalas representing the Marian titles, because we noticed, no offense to anybody, I've never been in the Philippines participating in this ritual, but you would tell me if it's true or not. What they told me was that in this, especially in bigger cities in the Philippines, in the end, the sagalas were kind of using this occasion to show off their wealthy, maybe, or the way they dressed up, and so Maribel told me this is something we want to avoid here, and we want to focus on the Catholic spiritual meaning of all this, without taking the risk of this ritual to become a fashion show or something like this. So this was her words, and that's what I reported. I have no idea exactly if this is true or not, whether this is true or not. But anyway, this was a principle they had in mind. Another interesting thing is that when we're talking about in Rehovot, when they talk about Flores de Mayo, and here you have the Reina Elena of that day, of that year, that is, as you know, the main figure of the Santa Cruzan parade, right? So this shows us that there is an overlapping in Israel. Basically, when they talk about Flores de Mayo, and this is also something that I would like to maybe ask you about the Philippines. When they talk about Flores de Mayo, they mostly mean Santa Cruz, because basically all the part of the domestic rosary practice, the domestic celebration of the Virgin with domestic altars, it's basically impossible in Israel, because the Filipinos mostly live in their employer's house, and almost all of them are Jewish, and they wouldn't allow them to build an altar in the house to celebrate the everyday prayer to the Virgin, right? The whole month. So basically, they kind of overlap Flores de Mayo and the Santa Cruzan parade, because I was told at the beginning, I thought this was Flores de Mayo as such, but then they described me the difference. But they, at the same time, explained to me that there was no choice for them but to overlap both the two rituals. And this is very interesting because Reina Elena is the key figure of Santa Cruzan, that, of course, as a Spanish colonial root. In Santa Cruz in Spanish means the Holy Cross, and it was so much connected to what in the Catholic history they call the Inventio Cruci, so the crucis, the search for the cross, the founding on the Holy Cross. And Reina Elena, the Saint Helena, the mother of the Emperor Constantine, in the 326 of the Christian era, found the cross of Jesus Christ in Jerusalem, so in the Holy Land, in the place where these people are kind of living, because Rehovot is 30 kilometers away from Tel Aviv, but it's like 40 kilometers away from Jerusalem. And all of them go to Jerusalem quite often. They know quite well that context. So for them, celebrating this Santa Cruzan in Israel has a particular meaning, and we will talk about that. But I was kind of focusing for now to the fact that Flores de Mayo and Santa Cruzan in Israel, at least in Rehovot, where I have been studying, are the same thing. Here is another picture. I hope you can see here the previous Reina Elena and the next one with the cross in her hands. So this is all about the cross and this celebration. That, by the way, by the Catholic current calendar, is celebrated in September, but in the previous times was in May, so it's fully connected to the celebrations, the Catholic celebrations of the month of May. So it makes particular sense, this celebration in the Philippines, and of course where the Filipinos are all around the world. Here I move to the second step. I think I explained already a bit the overlaps I saw and the relationships I saw between the celebration, the particular celebration in Israel, and the celebration of Flores de Mayo in the Philippines. And I saw this connection as a synecdoche. Synecdoche is a figure of speech, is a trope that basically tells like establish a relationship between two terms on the base of some connection, some logical connection. So the part for the whole, for example. What if you ask me, would you have some water? Yes, I'll get a drop. When I see I get a drop of water, I'm not meaning a drop, but I mean a part of the whole, right? So by this, this is synecdoche. And this is exactly what I try to interpret in this part of the ritual with. Like Flores de Mayo equals Santa Cruzan. So the day stands for the month. The pageant I witnessed, I observed in Israel, is a downscaled and moralized, as I told you, version of the Filipino, of the ones that is celebrated in the Philippines. So it's a part standing for the whole again, or the species for the genus. So basically, it's something quite different from the pageant that is being performed in the Philippines, but still is a Flores de Mayo Santa Cruzan pageant. So it's a version of it. But also the presence of the Philippine national anthem that is always performed at the beginning of the ritual, and also at the beginning of the program in the second part of the evening when they gather together after the mass, and the national Filipino flag that is always standing right close to the Virgin Mary in the church, let's say in the venue. So again, there is a strict connection from the diaspora, from the Filipinos in Israel, and the Philippines as their motherland. But also the synecdochical relationship is also clear to me in the relationship between the Marian titles, so the Sagalas, and Mama Mary. Basically, Mama Mary is one, and we all know it is the mother of Jesus Christ, but is worshipped and venerated under so many plural titles. So again, there are these relationships that I try to interpret by this synecdoche. Maybe I'll go fast on this because I think it's already time to go for the conclusions. But anyway, yeah, here I just mentioned this scholar that is his name is Todorov, Tzvetan Todorov, that sees the metaphor as a double synecdoche. So out of two synecdoches, you can pass to consider something as that trope as a metaphor. And I will be focusing basically on metaphors in the conclusion of my talk. So there is a very close connection between the Filipina migrant workers that represent the Marian titles, the Marian titles themselves, like Guadalupe Virgin, the Virgin of Guadalupe, the Virgin of the Mount Carmel, the Virgin of Lourdes or Fatima or whatever is represented, and Mama Mary. So basically, what I think is important to recognize here is that the celebration of Santa Cruz and which is like equal Flores de Mayo in Israel is the idea that the Filipino migrant workers that participate in this parade and in this ritual have the same mission, I would dare to say, that Mama Mary had in her own life. Of course, there is a scale relationship, right? Mama Mary had the mission of bringing Jesus Christ to the world. But what my informants, the people my interlocutors told me is that participating in this parade for us means to show the belonging to the Catholic faith and to show the moral also participations in the values of bringing the faith to the world. So as we participate to this parade, especially in a non-Christian environment, what we want to do is to testify the faith, our faith, to the world of non-Christians. So basically, this is very interesting. The participation in this ritual, in the end, becomes a metaphor of being Christian, being Filipino Catholic in a non-Christian, non-Catholic environment. But the second step of metaphor goes through Reina Elena. If you look to these two pictures, I hope you can see them. It's very clear how the two figures are very well connected by a particular moment of the celebration. This is the crowning of the Reina Elena in 2022, because I didn't have a picture of the 2017 that was depicting exactly this moment. I had to resort to this other one, but it's very clear. Here you have Father Matthew, that is the Salesian priest, so the leader of the community, the spiritual leader of the community. This is a member of the community representing the structure, the social structure of the community. And they are, so the Catholic Church again, and the Philippines, again, the nationality again, that is crowning Reina Elena, bearing in her hands the cross. And as you can see, just after a minute, Reina Elena is putting the crown on the head of the Mama Mary. So you see, it's the same gesture, which means these are very well connected. But how and why? Because I think again, the idea is that what did Reina Elena do for the Christianity and for the world was to bring the Holy Cross, the sign by which in the Catholic faith the world is redeemed, to the world, basically to the whole population of the world, the Christians and the non-Christians mostly, because by then the Roman Empire was non-Christian at all. Was the Emperor Constantine, the son of Saint Helena, that transformed the Roman Empire in a Christian empire. But what does this mean? Again, is that performing this ritual means, metaphorically, of course, that what we need to do as Catholic migrant workers in Israel, and what they told me is that we are particularly blessed to be in the very place where Jesus performed all his miracles and died for us, basically. So the idea is, what we do is what Reina Elena did: look for the cross, travel the Holy Land, the very place where Jesus walked on, and search for the cross and transmit its faith, basically, to the community, to the society. So there is a very interesting transformation through this ritual. I try to go fast on this last slide that summarize what I call the metaphoric presence of Filipinos Catholic workers, migrants in Israel. So basically, the whole ritual that I saw as a metaphor connects two realities. The reality of the Philippines back home, they all the time says, back home we do this, and here in Israel we do that. Okay, so the two realities are back home in the Philippines and here in Israel, where we now live, and manipulates that, transforming them so they live in a place, in a life that is sort of meta reality, that is neither at home nor here, nor halfway between the two dimensions of their being. But this very incongruity between those realities somehow opens up a space for agency, for transforming their own life. And in the end, through this ritual, what I claim is that through this ritual, Filipino migrant in Rehovot simultaneously proclaim and deny the reality of their being Israeli Filipino and Filipino Israeli, because they're both, but they play with those identities somehow through the ritual itself, and they reaffirm their presence on the plane of the possible, I say, on the level of possible. So in the end, their being Catholic migrant workers in the end in Israel is transformed in sort of a Catholic spiritual pilgrimage in the Holy Land, that of course rearrange completely their self perception of their own presence in this in this context of migration in Israel. I think I can say salamat, is that right? And I'm open to any question or curiosities, or I don't know. I hope I gave you a picture of my research. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Della Costa, for that insightful and thought-provoking lecture. We truly appreciate the depth of your discussion on Flores de Mayo in Rehovot and its rich ritual and rhetorical presence, the synecdoche, and the rest among Filipinos in Israel. At this point, we now move to the open forum for our question and answer session. We invite our participants to kindly type their questions in the Zoom chat box or in the Facebook stream. Uh, Alternatively, you may also turn off your microphone and you may raise your hand to be acknowledged. So yeah, Dr. Della Costa, we hope you are ready for some questions from our audience. But for now, I cannot yet find a question in the chat box. Everyone, can you keep them coming?
They can to me at least, they can also open the micro
Yeah.
and just jump in if they want.
But perhaps I can ask one question to
Sure.
start, Professor. So, what part of what really drew my attention in your paper is how rich your engagement with anthropological theories and
Mm.
philosophy really is. So you talk about even Heidegger and the rest. So can I ask how you move from your immersion with the community to the process of getting it published? That one, that part, we're also interested in that.
Okay. Well, this should be my job basically, and what I do is just to what anthropologists normally do is to, as I told you, even theoretically, because sometimes you just move next door and ask questions, but it's just to move around, to move among people and try to observe what we call one of the specificity of our research method is the participant observation, which is sort of a strange thing because normally when you observe you keep something like a distance from what you observe, but anthropology does not that. Anthropology is supposed to be in the midst of the society, in the midst of the of the people that they are both observed, of course, but uh, that come in relationship with you. That's what I think is all about the work of anthropologists. And you try to, so this is a very interesting process because you move from a very direct observation, a very direct participation in the life of a community, like I did, to an interpretation that of course can use instruments and tools that can be even very theoretical and very philosophical, as you said, maybe trying to because in the end people basically do what I think, what I named at the beginning of my talk, uh, is obvious, but we do all the time that, right? Even talking and gesturing as an Italian, as I'm doing right now, is something that is very obvious to me or to everybody, to everybody of us. But then you need to maybe some other lenses to see at those behaviors, at those activities, just with some regain some distance, just to interpret them. And this is something that is always dialogic. I'm not talking from like a philosophical point of view that is this is external from the point of view of the people that talked to me, that were my interlocutors about my research. So it's a double level process, let's say. You always need to keep faith to what people tell you, but also try to rearrange and make them understand. In the publication, what we do is just basically that. Try to make other people, the readers, for example, or the other anthropologists or other scholars, to understand what you understood. Basically, this is it. And yeah, there was a specialized journal for anthropologists, and they welcomed us, my paper. Yes, because I think also the topic itself was very interesting to them, like this idea
Yeah.
of Yeah, but maybe there is somebody else asking. I saw that there's no. I know
Thank you so
it's you.
much for
It's
that,
you. Oh, it's
Professor.
you. Okay. I thought there was a question.
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you for that. And there's this question being raised from Professor Arlene.
Yes.
Ma'am Arlene, can we ask you to unmute? Can you share your question with us?
Hello, Dr. Francesco.
Hi.
I am interested to know uh, about the sampling of your research. How many Santa Cruzans have you observed among the Filipinos before coming up with your conclusion, with your interpretations of what they do in Israel?
Okay. So personally, I participated in 5 editions of Santa Cruzan. Then, as I told you, I've been keeping in touch with that community until now. So basically, every year I see what they do and how they celebrate through the social media, basically, and through some pictures that people send me, maybe, or videos. So anyway, when I published my paper, I had been following the ritual for maybe 6 year, maybe 6 to 7 year, yeah. So, but I will say that
Do they
yes, sure. You were saying something, sorry. Okay, maybe that I didn't get the.
yeah. How often do they do Santa Cruzan? Once a month in May? Do they also do it in May?
Yes, sorry. Maybe I was not focusing this. It's on the last Saturday of May. Every year on the last Saturday of May, they celebrate Santa Cruzan. But they present as you see, as you saw from the pictures in the all the decoration of the church. They call it Flores de Mayo. So basically, well, I don't know exactly if anybody of them pray maybe they do pray the rosary, but as a social activity of the community, what they managed to do is the Santa Cruzan parade that they call Flores de Mayo in the last on the last Saturday of May.
Okay. Sige, thank you for that
Oh, welcome. Thank you for your question and your interest.
answer.
All right. I
Participants
think,
would
sorry.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you.
I think there's this question from Miss Mary Pauline. Miss Pauline, can you re read out your question out loud?
Yes. Kanang good evening, Dr. Francesco. I'm curious to know about something on the religious side of the people in Israel. Aside from Catholic Filipino migrant workers, has there been a conversion of a non-Catholic Israeli after witnessing the culture of Flores de Mayo among the Filipinos? That's my question, sir.
Thank you so much for your question. That's very interesting, actually, because this is about a process that is kind of affecting the society in Israel. So there are conversions. I'm not sure I can say this is because of the Filipino presence, but there are Jewish Israeli people that has been convert. There are very few, to be honest, but the Hebrew speaking Catholic community I've been talking at the beginning is populated mostly like 80% from migrants from India, South America, Philippines, but is also made of some Jewish people that convert to the Catholic faith. I'm not sure about how this happened, but also an interesting thing is that many of the employers and the employers' family, the employers of the migrants workers, participate in the Flores de Mayo celebration. And this is very cute, I find, because of course they're not Catholic, but I think they observe, they see how important it is for their. Of course, this is when the relationship between the employee and the employers is good, which is the majority of the cases, to be honest. But they see how important is this feast for their employee, that they come with the whole family. Sometimes I have this picture in mind, this scenes in mind of the whole families of participating with the Filipino friends, let's say the Filipino employee in the celebration, with kids dressed as angels. Some Israeli kids were dressed as angels because they wanted to participate in this nice ritual. So this is an interesting way for cultures to communicate. I think Israel is as you know, a very conflictual country, and there are many societal problems. But in that moment, I saw some very special moments of unity and friendship and relationship through this ritual, this Catholic ritual. So thank you for let me
Okay, thank you,
remind.
sir. Yes. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. I think we have a question from Miss Hazel. No, yeah, Miss Hazel Ann. Miss Hazel?
Good afternoon, Dr. Costa. This is more of a curious question. I'm just curious about how does the community that we are studying, how does the selection of the Marian titles go? Because I'm curious because here at least in our parish, we base the Marian titles that are gonna be portrayed in the Santa Cruzan according to the litany in the Holy Rosary. And based on what I saw, I saw the Marian title of Mount Carmel. We don't usually hear that title or use that title during Santa Cruz. And so I'm just curious if, like, in the span of the 5 editions that you have studied in the Santa Cruz, and if were there changes or variety with regards to the Marian titles that were being portrayed, because we only have 10, Doctor. Yeah, based on, so I'm just curious if does it change every year, and how does the selection go?
So this is very interesting because I'm looking in the paper for a specific. So thank you for the question, because it's really something that I stressed in my paper, because my interlocutors told me about the criterion they used for this selection. As I told you, this is sorry, I lost you. No, here we are. They restricted the number to 10. Okay, and so they have to pick some of the titles, right? Not all of them, as you're saying. What they do is looking for Marian title that is either very well connected to the faith in Israel, let's say, to the, not the faith among Israelis, but the places of faith in Israel. For example, Mount Carmel, which is north of Haifa, a city, an important city in Israel, it's a very important place that is visited by Catholic pilgrims when they come to Israel. So it's a title that is chosen because of this, I think. But also the principle in general is to, I quote Maribel, what Maribel told me. The 10 specific titles the organizers chose to be represented in 2017 that are different from the other editions. Every edition they change a bit, not all of them, but a bit. Are expressly connected with the work of conversion undertaken by the Virgin among several nations that were brought to the Catholic faith. That's what Maribel explains me. That's why the Virgin of the Holy Rosary, that, for example, had a very important meaning in the clash between Arabs and Christians in the Middle Age. It was chosen because of this. Was chosen because the idea is we represent mostly, as we need to choose, we represent mostly the Marian titles that account for a history of conversion of non-Christians. Because this is all about the idea in this Santa Cruzan celebration in Israel is we need to show to non-Christian what is our faith. We need to try to, I wouldn't say convert non-Christians to our faith, but to transmit, to testify maybe is the right word, our faith to the world. And so this is the idea, I think, about that. But thank you for allowing me to express better this.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you.
Welcome.
Professor, would you still be open to asking a few like one
Of
or two
course,
more?
yes, there's no problem. If you have
Okay.
other questions, I'm here.
I think Ma'am Arlene has one more question. Ma'am Arlene, can you share your question?
Uh, yeah, I am just interested about the practice of Flores de Mayo because I captured your sharing about Flores de Mayo is equal to Santa Cruzan. I would just like to share the practice in the Philippines, Dr. Francesco. The celebration of Flores de Mayo happens month-long. It is a month-long celebration starting May 1 to the last day of May. Santa Cruzan is part of the culminating activities, but the devotion is done through prayers every day. Have you not observed this practice among the Israeli, no, the Filipinos in Israel, the practice of going to this devotional practice daily, or do they just do it as a one-day celebration of the Santa Cruzan? They're just interested to
This
know.
is thank you so much for allowing me to reset this idea. The point is that at the beginning I didn't even know about this month-long devotion and practice, because it's the only one I could observe, and everybody of us participating in the, let's say, non-Filipinos participating in the community could observe only the Santa Cruzan's Flores de Mayo version in that I pictured you, because as I told you, and they told me, the daily practice of the rosary and the devotional prayers to the Mama Mary is not something that they really manage to do, unless it's something, as I told you, it's something very private. Let's say I couldn't say if they keep this devotion privately, but for sure what they cannot do is to build an altar. Tell me if this is what has been done in the Philippines, because we have a practice in Italy, for example, which is very, very similar. It's called the Via Mariae, so the way of Mary, and is basically building an altar that you basically put a statue of the Virgin, and you worship every like you celebrate every day by the rosary practice and other prayers, and is something that all the family gathers around. But this is not possible in Israel because the Filipino migrants mostly work, live in the houses of their Jewish employers, and they wouldn't allow them, even if the relationship is very good, as I told you, in most cases, but they wouldn't allow a spot of prayer, of Catholic prayer in the house, unless it's in the very private room of the person. So for sure, what is not possible is to do it as a family moment, let's say. The second thing is that they have like a full job, full-time job. That means that basically for the caregivers especially, they are working 24 hours a day basically, and this is quite a tough schedule to accommodate a religious practice that is not like personal prayer. That's what I mean. So this of course, this is what I saw and came to know from an external point of view. I never participated in their own houses to any of these practices, so I'm not sure what they really do. But what they told me is that it's impossible for them to keep the original devotion in the original way, let's say.
Thank you. We have one
Welcome.
more question from James Kenneth Adovo. James, can you share? No, can you turn on your camera and your audio?
Okay, sorry, sir. Hey, hi, Dr.
Hi.
Francesco. So yes, I have a question for you. In what ways does celebrating Flores de Mayo abroad, like in Rehovot, Israel, help preserve Filipino culture?
I'm not sure I understood the last word. Sorry.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
In what ways it helps?
Yes, in what ways does celebrating Flores de Mayo abroad, like in Rehovot, Israel, help preserve Filipino culture?
Okay. Well, this is an interesting topic, and maybe you can answer better than I can. But um, what I saw and what I try to show you is that um, it doesn't preserve Filipino culture in the diaspora exactly as it is in the Philippines. So it's a point of mediation, I would say, is a way to adapt the Filipino cultures to the context where it belongs in the diaspora. So the Israeli version of this celebration is particularly interesting, right? Because it's in that context, which is historically the Holy Land, the place where Christianity was born, basically. And so it's a way to, of course, preserve and keep the like Filipino traditions abroad, but it's also a way to let them live in a different context. So again, it's something that is not exactly as being in the Philippines, but is not exactly and being completely out of the Filipinos culture. It's a mediation in somehow, in some ways. That's exactly what I think. Then I didn't manage to test the originality of many of these practices, but what I try to understand is that how it differs in Israel compared to the original ones. So thank you for your question.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Do we have One more question. So far, I cannot see any other question. So
Maybe you're
we'll
tired.
count.
What time is it over there?
Currently, it's 6:16 p.m.
Okay, so
here.
yeah, I think it's also time for them to rest.
Yeah, I think so as well. So, before we close, thank you so much to our participants for your wonderful questions, for your thoughtful questions, and of course to Dr. Francesco Della Costa for generously sharing his insights and engaging with the discussion today. So before we close, permit me to share with you um, our very simple our very simple certificate of participation. Oh no, appreciation. The certificate is proudly presented to Dr. Francesco Della Costa for having served as our speaker and virtual lecture deliverer in the lecture titled Flores de Mayo in Rehovot, Ritual and Rhetorical Strategies of Filipinos' Presence in Israel, held on April 28, 2026, 5 to 6 p.m. Philippine time, via Zoom of Holy Name University. Um, this certificate is issued in recognition of valuable academic contribution to the success of the event organized by the College of Education in collaboration with the College of Arts and Sciences, Bohol Island State University. A big hand, everybody, please, to Professor De La Costa.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank you so much. I really am really happy to be in. I'm sorry that I couldn't make it in person, but maybe next time, who knows? But
Hopefully
it
next.
was it was very nice to be in touch with you, to organize this meeting and to go through it today. And I really appreciate your interest in my work and your nice participation with questions and in attention. So thank you really sincerely.
All right. So to the participants, you are kindly requested to accomplish the evaluation form and the attendance verification through the link in the comment section in the chat box. This will be the basis for your certificate of participation. All right. So on behalf of the College of Education of Holy Name University, we extend our sincere gratitude to everyone from Bohol Alliance State University, from Holy Name University, and from faculty and friends outside who joined us and contributed to the success of this virtual lecture. Special mention to the students of the Teaching Social Studies in intermediate grades, who are the technical working group in in this session. We also thank Dr. Jean Roy, the Dean of the College of Education of Holy Name University, for the support in making this possible. Also, Dr. Ami Caballo. All right. Once again, thank you very much and um, have a meaningful day ahead.
Thank you so much. You too. Good luck for everything to everybody.
Thank
And
you. So we can close. Bye-bye.
bye bye.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, all of you.